The world feels a little quieter today as we say goodbye to the iconic Marianne Faithfull. Her voice, full of raw emotion and untold stories, touched the lives of millions. From the highs of superstardom to the struggles she faced, Marianne's journey was nothing short of extraordinary. Marianne Faithfull passed away on January 30th, 2025, at the age of 78. Faithfull, who became a household name in the 1960s, left behind a legacy that spanned over 6 decades, filled with hits, challenges, triumphs, and reinventions. Her death was met with an outpouring of tributes from legends across the music world, from Mick Jagger to Metallica, and many others who had worked alongside her throughout her illustrious career. Faithfull wasn't just an artist, she was a symbol of survival, strength, and transformation in a world that often sought to break her down. Marianne Faithfull was born in Hampstead, London, in 1946, to a family that was no stranger to the arts. Her mother was a well-educated woman, and her father was a scholar of history and literature, a combination that would influence Marianne's intellectual approach to music and life. From an early age, she was drawn to the world of music, poetry, and art. Her upbringing was intellectual, yet when she stepped into the world of pop music, she brought an aura of sophistication and gravitas that set her apart from her peers. Faithfull's career took off at the tender age of 17, and she quickly became the poster child for the swinging 60s. In 1964, she released her iconic hit, As Tears Go By, a track written by Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, and Rolling Stones manager Andrew Oldham. It wasn't just a song, it was an introduction to the world of pop music that would propel her into the international spotlight. However, it wasn't just her voice that made her a sensation. It was her enigmatic beauty, youthful innocence, and captivating personality that made her stand out in an era dominated by the likes of the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and other pop titans. But beneath the public image of the perfect 60s pop star lay a young woman already facing the complexities of fame. As a teenager in the public eye, Faithfull found herself surrounded by the very people who would shape her destiny. Mick Jagger, who became both a lover and a muse, and the burgeoning rock and roll scene that would take over the world. The relationship with Jagger, although turbulent, was pivotal in Faithfull's early career, and it brought her the kind of attention that many artists only dream of. Yet, despite her rise to fame, she was also faced with the intense pressure that came with being thrust into the spotlight at such a young age. As the 1960s wore on, the dark side of fame began to take its toll on Faithfull. While she continued to gain attention for her music, her personal life began to spiral out of control. The pressures of fame, coupled with the pressure to conform to an image created by others, led to struggles with substance abuse. Her relationship with Jagger disintegrated, and in the late 1960s, she found herself increasingly disillusioned with the lifestyle that had once brought her fame. Yet even during this period of personal turmoil, Faithfull's music continued to evolve. In the early 1970s, she spent years battling with addiction, but rather than succumb to the dark depths that often swallowed so many of her contemporaries, she began her process of reinvention. Her voice became darker, more soulful, and reflective of the inner struggles she faced. She re-emerged in 1979 with her groundbreaking album Broken English, a critical and commercial success that marked the beginning of a new era in her career. The album was far removed from the sweet pop songs of her youth. Instead, it was raw, unapologetic, and emotionally complex. Broken English was a reflection of Marianne's journey through personal pain, addiction, and recovery. Songs like The Ballad of Lucy Jordan and Why Did We Go became anthems of emotional depth and vulnerability. The album solidified her status not only as a survivor, but also as a formidable artist who had reinvented herself and embraced her scars. Faithfull's career after Broken English continued to evolve. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, she released albums that further solidified her legacy. She explored a wide range of genres, from pop and rock to jazz and blues, showcasing her versatility as an artist. Albums like Strange Weather and 20th Century Blues found Faithfull embracing her age, her wisdom, and her unique place in the world of music. These albums captured her at her most vulnerable and introspective, painting vivid pictures of her personal life, her triumphs, and the heartache she had overcome. In addition to her musical achievements, Faithfull also pursued a career in acting, further diversifying her artistic portfolio. She starred in a number of films, the most notable being Michael Winner's I'll Never Forget What's His Name, 1967. Her acting career, much like her music, was marked by a blend of vulnerability, strength, and depth. She was able to inhabit characters that were as multifaceted as the woman herself. Her acting career, though not as expansive as her music career, added to the mystique and depth of her artistic identity. As the years passed, Marianne Faithfull's personal life remained a subject of fascination for her fans. In the 1970s, she had a son, Nicholas Dunbar, with her first husband, John Dunbar, a British aristocrat. The relationship was complicated, and her son's birth was part of the tumultuous chapter that defined Faithfull's early years. Later in life, she found stability, focusing on her music and continuing to push boundaries in the industry. Her musical collaborations also became a hallmark of her career. Marianne worked with some of the most significant artists of her time, including the Rolling Stones, David Bowie, and Metallica. Her collaboration with Metallica on the song The Memory Remains, 1997, was a career highlight, showcasing her ability to seamlessly blend into the rock world despite her long-standing association with the 1960s pop scene. Faithfull's long-lasting relationship with the Rolling Stones' Mick Jagger was a focal point of her personal and professional life. Their connection went beyond music, though it was filled with tumult and drama. Despite the ups and downs, the two remained close friends throughout their lives, with Jagger even acknowledging Marianne's influence on both his music and his personal life. Jagger, along with the other Rolling Stones members, mourned her passing publicly, with heartfelt tributes that spoke to her artistic legacy and the deep personal connection they shared. As news of her death spread in early 2025, fans and peers alike expressed their sorrow and gratitude for the legacy she left behind. Mick Jagger, who had known Faithfull for decades, shared his grief in a statement, calling her a wonderful friend, a beautiful singer, and a great actress. Keith Richards, another longtime friend, also paid tribute to Faithfull, saying, "I'm so sad and we'll miss her." Marianne's death was a blow to the music world, with tributes pouring in from artists as diverse as Metallica's Lars Ulrich, who wrote on social media, "Thank you, Marianne, for the good times, for your kindness, for the great stories, for your fearlessness." The Kinks' Dave Davies and the Charlatans' Tim Burgess also expressed their grief, acknowledging the deep influence Faithfull had on the music industry. From her early beginnings as a pop star to her eventual status as a cultural icon, Marianne Faithfull was much more than a famous name. She was a reflection of her time, her struggles, her resilience, and her transformation. Faithfull's influence on popular culture was undeniable. Her music, which spanned genres and styles, resonated with audiences worldwide. Yet, her greatest gift was her willingness to be vulnerable, to allow her audience to see not just the polished performer, but the woman behind the music. The woman who had survived the wreckage of fame, love, addiction, and loss. In doing so, she connected with listeners on a profound level, creating a lasting bond that transcended mere celebrity. Marianne Faithfull was not just a pop star. She was a voice of a generation, a testament to the strength of the human spirit, and a muse to countless artists across genres. Her music continues to live on, and her influence will remain for years to come. As we remember her legacy, We celebrate the songs, the stories, and the life of a woman who turned her pain into art, her trials into triumphs, and her vulnerabilities into a universal language. She was Marianne Faithfull, and her voice will never be forgotten. Marianne Faithfull's legacy lives on through her unforgettable music and timeless spirit. What is your favorite Marianne song? How has her journey inspired you? Her voice will forever echo in our hearts. Rest in peace, Marianne. You'll always be remembered. What will you miss most about her?